Hey everyone, it's John with Blue Ridge Frontier. We're in the shop tonight. Not our normal content, not our normal style, but it's something that's very important to us all and anyone who follows the channel. We need to talk about motor vehicle use maps and road closures. I do have a few notes here tonight just to help keep me straight. So to get right to the point and not belabor the subject, there are some areas of Flagpole Knob that are going to be closed down. The National Forest Service has already moved some boulders to the entrance of Flagpole. An example of some of the trails that could be shut down are the mud holes between Flagpole and Reddish, or the hard line leaving Flagpole if you're standing out and looking into the valley of Harrisonburg, Virginia. To the right, there's kind of a hard line. But that is a risk. It's probably going to get closed as well because that was a trail that someone just created when they decided to drive through the woods randomly one day. There was rumor the Vista closing, which is actually Flagpole Knob proper. It's this beautiful flat spot, a few fire pits up there. It's about 30-some hundred, maybe 40-some hundred feet. And that's what overlooks the valley in Harrisonburg, Virginia below. However, the Forest Service has confirmed that, at least for their plan right now, that the Vista, the Flagpole Knob proper, will not be closed. There was some rumor that it would be closed and it would be open to foot traffic only. However, as I mentioned, the North River Ranger District confirmed that the Vista is not closing, and they confirmed it today, August 26, 2026. Now that could change in the future if we're not responsible, and that's kind of the whole point of this video. But as of right now, the side trails, the social trails, the mud pit, all are most likely going to be closed down because those trails are not on the motor vehicle use map. Why is this happening? Well, there's a few reasons. People are not taking care of the trails. They're leaving trash. They're dumping trash. They're tearing trees and stuff up. They're just cutting their own trails through the woods wherever they want to. And while it is public land and we all have access to it, it still needs to be properly cared and maintained and cared for. And if we don't do our part, it will get shut down even further. Now, before we get too far down the motor vehicle use map, let's talk about what we can do to take care of our trails. First thing you can do is if you see some trash, pick it up. I've been in convoys of trucks, 4Runners, Subarus, whatever, and if the second person in line sees it, he's like, hey, we're going to stop here for a second. There's some trash out. Everyone just hop out real quick, check around you. It's not our trash, but we can all pick it up. We can all make a difference to make the forest a more beautiful place and to pick up after the lazy trash holes who don't take care of stuff. I know we all like gear, but a Walmart bag is perfect for this because at the end of the day, you just stuff it in your Walmart bag, and then the next gas station you hit, just go ahead and throw it inside the trash can there. Hit a dumpster with it, throw it in your trash can at home. If you're a gear guy, gal, I get it. I'm kind of in the same boat sometimes. Napa Auto Parts sells a Maxi Track Trash Caddy. It is $33. It's made to go over a spare tire, or you could even do it around your tailgate if you have a truck, or potentially with like your back window and glass of an SUV if your window pops or rolls down. It's $33. It has drain holes in the bottom. You can fill it with trash. It's big enough around to fit a 5-gallon bucket in it, and it's $33. I have one. I don't run it all the time because I usually just throw the trash in the Walmart bag that I'm already using. But hey, if you want to make an effort, make a difference, if you want to pick up some cool gear, get you a trash caddy from Napa online. I'll post a link to that in the description. Not sponsored, not affiliated. It's a product I bought with my own money. It's pretty cool. One thing that a lot of people don't realize is the Motor Vehicle Use Map, the MVUM. This is published by the National Forest Service, and usually every state has their own MVUM, Motor Vehicle Use Map, for all of the trails that are in the state. You can go on the U.S. Forest Service website for George Washington Thomas Jefferson National Forest, and you can actually find the Motor Vehicle Use Map, which was last updated in 2015. It is currently the most recent copy. Now, what some people think, or what some people don't realize, is that the Motor Vehicle Use Map is king. It doesn't matter what OnX says. OnX is a tool that a lot of us use to find cool trails, to route to the trails, to check trail status and conditions. However, just because OnX says it's a trail does not mean it's a trail. There's a trail in the Brandywine area, just north or west of Harrisonburg up 33, called Rocky Ridge Trail. And there's a gate about the last quarter mile, maybe half a mile or so. OnX says it's a trail all the way through. But that trail, that portion past the gate, is not on the motor vehicle use map. And unfortunately, some people who have been off-roading longer than I've been alive don't understand that the motor vehicle use map is king, and that what OnX says in reality doesn't matter. Now, going back to the motor vehicle use map, it is important for everyone to know how to read a motor vehicle use map. I have the link to the Virginia one in the description, and it tells you what each section is. So it would be like page 10 is for this section of forest and trails, and then at the bottom it tells you what every single trail or marker or line means. I'll post it up on here. You can see there's the gravel section, there's a non-full width, there's full size only, there's, public road versus off-road. It's all available in there. It's all crystal clear. It's super easy to follow, and it's not difficult. However, like I've already said, you have to validate against this. Generally speaking, most trails that we all go on have already been validated by OnX or people on OnX, or whoever submitted it is familiar with the trail. However, you still need to do your due diligence and check it against the motor vehicle use map. There have been some times in the past that I was on a trail in an area that I thought was a trail, but it turns out it was a random diversion that went around that folks created by doing what I did. Oh, that looks like a fun way. Let me go through there. And next thing you know, there's this unofficial or unauthorized trail through the woods that harms all of us. It takes away our ability to have access to cool things. The Forest Service has to maintain it. It's another place they're not tracking where people could be. And so it's very important to follow the motor vehicle use map and keep up with that type of stuff. Now, I do have a small bone to pick with motor vehicle use maps. There are some moderators and admins in Virginia Off-Road 501c3 who don't understand how motor vehicle use maps work. I was actually recently banned from that group. As someone who has been in it for a long time, I'm part of their trail recovery group. I get notified when people get stuck and break down on the trail, and I was banned because I told an admin, hey bud, the trail you're on is not on the motor vehicle use map. It is not a valid trail. You shouldn't be there. There's a reason there's a gate at the top. There's a reason there's a gate at the bottom. You shouldn't be there. And if you're going to be there to help somebody, you should clear it through the National Forest Service. Technically, if you're on a trail that is not on the motor vehicle use map, you could be trespassing on someone's private property, which is what happened in that instance I just mentioned, or you're on an unauthorized area in the National Forest where your vehicle is not allowed to go. However, for that specific admin for Virginia Off-Road 501c3, instead of admitting fault, he just deleted comments, the discussion, which was a great discussion on motor vehicle use maps, but he was clearly in the wrong. And I'll put some evidence up right here. You can see where in the motor vehicle use map he was, and the person who was having some difficulty was, and that section is not actually in the motor vehicle use map, and OnX shows it as part of a trail. However, we got past that. Similarly, though, it happened again, and I was banned almost instantly. I said, no, you absolutely do go off trail, and you shouldn't do that because as stewards of the National Forest, whether you're just one random dude like me, or you're the moderator and administrator of the largest off-road group in Virginia, you need to educate people correctly on how to use our National Forest. And that doesn't happen, and didn't happen with Virginia Off-Road 501c3. It is beyond frustrating that Virginia's largest off-road groups tolerates this behavior from their admins in the group, and when that group is here to teach and train others on proper trail etiquette and usage. It's mind-boggling. Don't be like them. Do better. Join a group that cares and respects the land and the forests that we have access to. And again, motor vehicle use map is king, because in the instance of getting banned, someone said, the person who banned me, who is a moderator over there, said, Well, OnX said it's a trail. The motor vehicle use map does not say it's a trail. It doesn't matter what OnX says. OnX is a social media platform disguised as a GPS. We kind of already touched on this, but if you do go on the trails, what can you do? What can you do to make things better? You can consult the motor vehicle use map and stay on trail. Don't divert off trail with your vehicle. If you want to hike through the woods a little bit, that's what they're there for. But off-road vehicle use is restricted to certain areas, and we need to adhere to that and follow that. Pick up trash and/or don't litter. Don't be a trash hole. Pick up after yourself. Throw your trash away. Don't flick your metal beer bottle things into the forest. Just put it in your pocket and take it out when you leave. It's really not that hard. Be the voice of reason and advocate for what is right. That's why I'm here today. I want to use the National Forest. I have George Washington National Forest within like 5 miles of my house. I off-road those trails regularly. Bald Mountain Trail is in my backyard essentially. Flagpole Knob is like 30 minutes from here. I have access to all of this and I care deeply about it, and that's why I'm sitting here advocating to do things correctly. We are going to lose access to this. If you look at trail maps that existed 40 and 50 years ago, there were hundreds of miles of trails in areas where now there's only a few miles. Why? Most of that is because we, as stewards of the land, did not take care of it like we should have, and we need to do better collectively. One more thing to mention about this. This is not just for the off-road world. There are, up on Flagpole, I've seen ham operators up there. I've seen people hiking, mountain biking, gravel biking, maybe skiing down there in the wintertime. We all need to do better. So this is not just looking at the off-roaders. It is when it comes to staying on trail and off trail, because our vehicles damage stuff off trail, whereas some random dude walking through the woods isn't really damaging too much. But we need to be advocates for this land, for what we have access to, and we need to kind of spread it around to everyone who uses it. I've seen dudes put up 40-foot ham radio antennas up on Flagpole and talk to people thousands of miles away, and that's super cool. But those people also need to help take care of our land. So yes, while this is an off-road channel and this was primarily focused on off-road use and off-road motor vehicle use, it applies to all facets of anyone who utilizes our national forests and our property and the public property. If you have any questions, comments about what I asked, if you want to go over motor vehicle use maps, if you find that interesting, I'd be more than happy to do a tutorial on how to read them. It's not that difficult, but I understand it can be daunting and confusing the first time or second time you've ever looked at it. So if you have any questions, comments about that, please just let me know. While this channel is primarily off-road focused and overland primarily, please share this, get it out there. I don't care about monetization. This channel's not monetized. I do this for fun because 1, I like making videos, 2, I like off-roading, 3, I like sharing my adventures with other people, and 4, I like to be a good voice and advocate in the community, and I hope that you would do the same. So thank you for taking care of our national forests. Thanks for staying with me while we talked it out tonight, and I hope you have a good rest of your night. Cheers.